Well, welcome everyone to Law Talk. We got the main man here, attorney Michael O'Connor from Michael O'Connor Associates. A lot to learn today, folks, about the surveillance and privacy, okay? The show is going to be based on surveillance and privacy issues in a workers' compensation case. Very important for you to know.
What we're trying to do, Sam, is create a series of education to the injured workers, be able to get a broad spectrum of what happens during a workers' compensation case, because it's very complicated, and it's one of those areas where you do need help to guide you through the system.
And, of course, that's all you do.
Well, we do that, and we also do Social Security disability, and we also do some personal injury, because there's also a thing called third-party litigation or third-party accidents, and that happens when let's say you're working for your employer, but you're on somebody else's site and they were at fault. Or if you're in an auto accident and you're on your employer's some kind of work duty and you get involved in an accident, well, you can go do a third-party suit for that also. So, yes, we do mostly workers' compensation, but we do some other things also in our firm.
Okay, but today we're going to focus on surveillance and privacy, okay?
That's right.
And now you hear about surveillance in a workers' compensation case. What is allowed and what isn't, Mike?
Well, first of all, it's legal in Pennsylvania to film someone in a public place. That's the first thing. It's illegal to film someone in their house, as far as looking in their windows and being able to, put some kind of camera that would see what happens inside your house. Some of the things that we see is that an investigator sometimes will go to a neighbor's house, though, and get permission to go on a neighbor's property, because they can't go on your property. That's one of the things they can't do without your permission, is go on your property and film you. But in a crowded neighborhood, what can happen is that they can go to a neighbor's house or an adjoining property and film you when you're outside your house. Like I said, they can't film you when you're inside the house. Now, they can also film you when you're going to the grocery store. We've seen them getting filmed going to, to the pharmacy to get your prescriptions filled. They can film you anytime when you're outside. They can follow you, when you're in your car. So they're allowed to do that. And there's some of the things we ask that, to look out for that. I mean, there's certain ways that we can tip you off the show if you are being followed.
Well, I'm sure you've seen a lot of tricks being played, too.
Yes, we have.
Okay, so sometimes the investigators play little tricks.
They have a lot of tricks.
What are some of those?
Well, some of the tricks they do is, like, what they'll do is they'll let's say you have a weight restriction of 25 pounds. What they might do is they might knock on your door and put a package there worth 40 pounds. And then they'll go out, they'll knock on your door, and they'll leave, and they'll film you picking up that package. And then that way they'll try to discredit you in front of a judge. Some of the other things is that they'll, when they provide transportation to an independent medical examination, they might try to be friends with you and engage you in a conversation. At that point, they might write down what you've said to them and be able to use that against you. They try to lull you in a sense of friendship. One of the things that we ask is that, sometimes you might get a strange phone call where people just hang up, or they ask you a stupid question, like if you want to buy magazines, and that's one way of the surveillance person to see if you're home, so they're not wasting their time outside your house. So what we ask for is if you get those kind of signals where there is a strange phone call, we ask you to be on the lookout that you probably are going to be getting filmed at some point. Also, we also say look out for strange vehicles in your neighborhood. A lot of times they're in vans. And then there shouldn't be a strange vehicle in your neighborhood, especially when there's kids around. So what we tell you to do is, if there's a strange vehicle in your neighborhood, call the police and say, hey, there's a strange vehicle in my neighborhood. I want this to investigate. And usually the police can get to the bottom of what's going on. So there are some of the things you have to look out for. And it's one of these things where when you're in a public place, you're allowed to be filmed. But the most important thing is when you're in your home, there's privacy laws that say you can't do that.
So they do this because they feel that they were trying to trick the person, or to tell the judge that they should not be on compensation.
Right. What they try to do is they try to discredit the person, to say that what you did in these 15 or 20 seconds is something that goes against what your doctor's been telling you, that you're able to do more than you're able to do. But the problem is it's only 15 or 20 seconds. They don't see what happens later on when you're laid up and from trying what you just tried. You know, 15 or 20-second film really doesn't really reflect what's happening in a person's injury.
Now, I would also like to make one thing clear. Attorney O'Connor's been doing this a long time. You do not take cases on that you feel are frivolous, or you do not take any cases on that you think someone's just trying to rip somebody off.
No, we don't do that. And Sam, and if we sometimes film can help in a sense that if it does show fraud, we'll probably drop that client if it's truly fraud.
That's why.
And you know, we wouldn't take a case like that. But you know, most of the time that we experience, it's not fraud. I mean, it's just the misrepresentation of the film.
Right.
I mean, you could be holding a grocery bag, you know, with bread in it, but it might look like it's something very heavy, and it might be against your restrictions.
Yeah.
So film can be very deceiving, and so you know, we tend to see that you know, it's not fraud. It's that you know that the worker is just being misrepresented.
That's why they need you, Michael.
We try our best to be able to you know, make sure that the workers' rights are being protected.